Hello, everyone. See, it's like just kind of to look even. Okay, give me 1 second because I need to get something to drink. I'm feeling parched. Oh, teens. Okay. So I'm just getting situated. Okay. So hello everybody. Again, my name is Sage. I'm sure you know who I am if you're my subscriber. Thank you for this amount of breath. Why am I always out of breath? Where's my phone? I'm gonna look up some motivational quotes. This is a more serious but lighthearted video. Hey, these are too long. I'm just gonna go to images. Okay, act as if what you do makes a difference. You know what? Fuck this. I'm just gonna start off with my own. This video is about mental health, standing up for yourself, being assertive, telling people what you need for you. And it's not gonna be that long. Just kidding, it'll probably be long. I'll ramble on. I'll just try to keep it within 30 minutes. But this video is about finding the you inside, you know? Regardless of what you look like, regardless of like your gay, straight, your sexual orientation, your race, your ethnicity, where you were born, your socioeconomic status, meaning like how much money you make. Like, this video is just about my story and me, and I'm gonna make this a series, because sip with Sage is not appropriate, because it encourages drinking alcohol, and like, I'm not about that life. I'm drinking some cranberry juice because it's really good for you. But I'm sorry. Give me a second. I'm just nervous. If you couldn't tell, I'm nervous. I'm gonna use my Flume vape because it's made with organic ingredients. Doesn't say on the package, the ingredients on the package are fake, but because they don't want to put the real recipe out there. But I know it's made with better ingredients than other stuff. Can't make too many claims, but okay. For me, I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I grew up there. As far as I know, I was born in Little Rock, Arkansas, and I grew up there until I was 5 years old. Somehow I got handed in the hands of other people, whatever. Can't get into that, but I grew up there until I was 5, and when I was 5 years old, well, my parents were together. They got divorced, and you know, I had a decent childhood. I was in a little private preschool. I was gonna go to a little private school, but my mom moved me out with her to Little Rock, Arkansas, to Valley Village, California, which Valley Village is also considered North Hollywood. You can call it North Hollywood, Studio City, Valley Village are all around the same, but it was Valley Village, California, North Hollywood, close to Burbank, California. It's close. Where I went to Colfax Charter Elementary School. It wasn't charter back then. And, you know, I went to a school that was very academically focused. I was thrown in my academics fairly quickly, and I did well. I was tested gifted and talented early, and I did musical theater. I was Annie and Annie. Like, that's what a lot of people remember me from in elementary school. I was the star in a lot of musicals, and I ended up quitting that because I wanted to pursue acting. Sorry. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to pursue acting, but my mom said I had to focus on my academics, so I gave up basically the chance. Now I'm realizing I would have had a full-on acting career, but most childhood actors are fucked up, let's just be real. So, anyways, and I focused on my academics, and I did well, but I was always really poor. Like, I lived on, like, $20,000 or less a year. Just me and my mom, and in North Hollywood, California, or really anywhere in California, like, that's not a lot. My mom was really unstable, and I struggled really early with my identity because around me, the thing is, like, most of the kids I went to elementary school with were, like, Caucasian or white, and I didn't always feel like I fit in with them, to be honest. But at the same time, I can't flip the script completely, because, like, in elementary school, middle school, like, I was really popular, and, like, everybody knew who I was, but there was just a part of me that didn't feel like I fit in because I wasn't, like, the big group, and I was different, I was that funny kid, that eccentric kid, like, they called me chubby in middle school. Long story short, come to find out I was preggo, and nobody told me. Like, that show, Are You Preggo? And you didn't know it? Like, yes, that was me. Didn't know it until this year. Completely. But, yeah, I just went through a lot of issues. And in my middle school, I was in a humanities honors program at Walter Reed Middle School. They film a lot of TV shows there. And it was just hard because I noticed there was, like, a lot of Hispanic and Latino kids, and even Asian kids, and, like, everybody else, but, like, minority groups, and they were separated from, like, the humanities honors and the different levels. So in my classes, even though I went to a school with people that looked like me, in my classes I didn't have people that really looked like me. And I don't know, I just really struggled because my mom was, like, verbally and emotionally and physically abusive growing up, and I didn't really have a daddy, so I had a new family out in Texas, and I just really struggled. Like, I don't know the struggle, how I can explain, like, 1 second. Like, what it's like being so poor. Like, it wasn't totally to the point where, like, not knowing where my meal is coming from. It did get to a point because we started becoming homeless on and off. When I was little, and living with friends, living with people, but, like, to the point where I was like, you didn't know if you were gonna get a $1 cup of noodles, and, like, that was what you were gonna have. But, like, that wasn't all the time. Like, I didn't have super food insecurity, but I had living insecurity. So a lot of times I got to the point where I didn't know where I was gonna lay my head at night, and that puts stress on a child, let alone when you're not coming from a loving, supportive family. Like, that's a lot. Also, I did my makeup routine day, but I smeared it off, so this is not what it looked like. It looked a lot better than this. And I was just different. All my friends had these houses that ended up escalating in the real estate market to being over $1 million, and they were able to sell and renovate and buy a bigger house. And, like, I didn't have that, and I never spent time at home. I always wanted to spend time in my friends' houses, and that's because their houses were bigger. And I had a 1-bedroom apartment with my mom, let alone I should have been more thankful for that because I was freaking out when we lost the apartment. And in 10th grade, I had to move to Arkansas, where that was where I did join the Young Democrats. But I grew up in the California, like in the Valley in Hollywood, so obviously it's more liberal. But anyway, I struggled with my academics. I started failing out. I started doing horrible in my classes. And that really affected my mental health because I was in the South in the country in a place where I didn't feel like I fit in. Like, that wasn't the culture I was around. Where I moved onto a farm with my grandparents, so I should have been thankful for that. We got kicked out of there. My mom did. I was on a farm, like, freaking feeding horses every day and feeding pigs, huge giant hogs that would come and chase after you. It was scary, like, to the point where they were above your hip in size. And, you know, I just really struggled. And then I moved in with my dad when I was in the 10th grade. And my dad was like, you have to go to college. And so I went to college because once I moved to Carrollton in Irving, Texas, Irving is really diverse, I really started to focus on my academics and finding my identity and saying, like, you know, just because I grew up like this, I can still do something with my life. And I got into this top 30 school, and, like, that was the one school I applied to. Let alone I should have fucking applied to Harvard and every Ivy League knowing that I would have gotten in. Because, like, I did well on my tests. I just didn't believe in myself. I was like, I need to lower my expectations. But it's like, I didn't even give myself the chance to apply to multiple schools. I only applied to one. And even if, right now, where I'm going to UOP, like, that's the one school I applied to because I was worried about getting recommendation letters. Like, it's stupid. Hopefully it works out. But that didn't work out, the first school, and I was really popular, but I didn't have good friends. I didn't have people I could talk to. And then, like, I had this one friend who was so toxic for me. Like, I was in a friend group where I was giving all the energy. So, you know, cranberry juice is tangy. This is serious, so. And I wasn't getting any energy back, but I got to the point where I told this one girl, I was like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. I feel like you're toxic for me, like. And she had borderline personality disorder and various disorders, and just had a fight with her dad, and I guess I kind of did yell it because she kept coming back at me with, well, I guess I'm not a good friend, well, I guess this, and I wasn't screaming, but I was like, I can't do this anymore with you. Like, I don't want to be your friend. And I was trying to rush at being in a sorority, which I ended up, pledging to be in a sorority at that time. I was trying to make connections, so I was like, I'm not going to have these friends later because I'm going to be in a sorority with different girls. I ended up joining Sigma Delta Tau, but that same night, she attempted to commit suicide, and that's when my whole mental health issues really got the worst. She ended up recovering, and I didn't tell her anything to, like, go kill herself, nothing. She said I didn't want to be your friend, and I guess for her that was her last straw. But it really affected me because she ended up blaming me for that decision that she made to almost end her life, and that put a weight on me to the point where I had to go to the psych ward because I was so depressed. I wasn't eating and sleeping, and she put me in the psych ward. She brought me to the psych ward, told them lies about me. They got me in the psych ward. It was a disaster. It's the most horrible place. I was in this room where you couldn't shower for 3 days. You just had to sit there. A bunch of, like, other homeless people. It was horrible. Then after I get out of the psych ward, I'm like, I can't do school anymore. Like, this is awful. So I ended up tried to go home, didn't want to live with my dad, live with my aunt. I loved it. Sorry. My dad was like, your mental health is too bad, I can't handle you. So he basically abandoned me. So I have abandonment issues from my parents. And then, like, let me see 1 second. I just want to see how this looks. Anyways, then I don't know. I was just so abandoned and so lost and so hurt. And then I went to treatment for mental health, got back in school. Then, like, I thought I was preggo, and I went through another friend thing where these girls tried to poison me in this house. I went to an apartment, had all these men stalking me, like, outside my window, breaking into my house. Like, I had $15,000 in bank accounts. Cash App stole all my money. Citizens Bank locked me out of all my accounts, put fraud. They ruined my whole credit. Like, still to this day, my credit is low, and I lost everything. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, like, I messed up, I made faulty investments, like, I'm good at investing. No, people just did fraud and stole $15,000 from me, and it was a whole corporate setup, corporate government setup, like, by the right side, by, like, these Republicans and shit. And it made me homeless, and I flew to Washington, D.C. to get help, to get legal help, because they stole everything from me, and I didn't owe them anything. And I end up getting my ID. I wake up on the plane, my ID's missing, my card's missing. I end up homeless. Long story short, I'm homeless in Washington, D.C. for weeks. I walk all the way from Washington, D.C. to Virginia on the highway, on the little sides of the highway, just walking for days, pregnant, not knowing what's going to happen, like, just knowing I didn't want my babies to be in the system. Like, it was just a disaster. And I'm in Target, and this woman calls the police on me because she kidnapped a baby, and I try to pick up the baby to help her, the little girl. Calls police on me. I end up going in jail in Virginia for 7 days, and they put me in an isolation chamber for COVID. They didn't even test me, but they said you have to be there. I was in an isolated cell for 7 days, and they didn't feed me but like twice. Like, I had 2 or 3 meals for 7 days in an isolated chamber with people just screaming. And like, then I get out, and I end up in I get to New York City because I'm like, I'm gonna go back to school. Then I freak out. I'm like, I can't go back. Like, they're just gonna try to put me in psych. And then I have issues with my partner, and the whole thing spins me into whirlwind where I'm in the psych ward for 4 months. Like, I was in psych ward for 3 straight months, like a 90-day hold. And I didn't deserve that. And all for saying I was preggo and I had a hubby, like, a husband, like, that wasn't fair. Like, just horrible treatment. And then I get out, and my grandma's like, you could live with me. And then I live with her for like a little bit. And then, but after you go to treatment, I'm in homeless centers in Boston, wherever. I go to treat. This is all like this is like end of 20. I went to psych ward in October 2022, and then this is like 2023. And like, she's like, you gonna live with me, go to treatment. I go to treatment. I'm with her for like 2 weeks. We have a falling out. I leave him, like, I'm going to California. No plan. I spent money on my credit cards to get that flight, and my money gets stolen again. I put these things on my credit cards, and they overbilled me for things I didn't stay. Like, Airbnb billed me like $2,000 when I didn't stay, and I never got all my money back from Chase Bank either. Even though I was paying it off, I had like low payments because my credit was so good. And then they messed me up because they're like, oh, well, you have to pay more now. And I was like, that's not the contract I signed. I wasn't late. And it was just a disaster, which is why I bank with Fidelity now. But this is the white gummy, by the way, flavor of the Flume Pebble. But yeah, and then I'm in treatment for a whole year because I'm homeless. I have nowhere to go. I lived off my insurance, and thank goodness I had good insurance with my dad, and my grandma paid the deductible for the first place I went to. So I've been in mental health treatment for a year straight, and I'm making this video because in 2 days, after 2 more days of treatment, after a year of being in rehab and mental health treatment, locked up in a house, having nowhere to get out, having nowhere else to go, I finally am getting my life together, and I'm going to fucking school. I'm going to the University of the Pacific. I'm going to go stay with my grandma. She's going to buy me all new clothes. I'm going to get a makeover. I'm going to get my hair braided. I'm so excited. It's been such a long, year and a half ever since I was struggling. And I finally feel like I'm at this place where I worked on myself to be the best that I can be. And I gave it everything that I had. And it was a horrible time. Horrible. I don't mean homeless. I slept on the street. It's a miracle I'm still alive, walking around at night. New York City, nobody helped me. And also, I didn't have a phone part of the time. So, pregnant, too. And so, so I'm going to school. And I just want to say, if you're in a hard situation financially, or you just broke up with your partner, you're going through divorce. I'm not going through divorce. I'm fine. But I'm just saying, if you're going through a divorce, you're going through a hard time with your mental health, or you feel like giving up, or you're suicidal, don't give up. Or you have the plagues, or, you're sick, or you find out you have cancer. Don't give up. Keep praying to Mashiach. Keep fighting. Don't give up, because good things could be around the corner. You never know what's going to be there for you. And I know I have a good future for me. And it took the hardest 23 years to get here. But I'm going to make it. For my future children, I'm going to make it. For me, I'm going to make it. For my family, I'm going to make it. For Rain, I'm going to make it. My partner. And, he's been here to help me get me through it, but he wasn't always here. And now we're together and stronger than ever, and that's been a great support system. But, I don't have freaking friends. I had a falling out with all my friends. I had a falling out with all of my friends. I don't have anybody to lean on. I lean on myself. I lean on Rain. I lean on my grandma and my uncle, and I'm finding out I have more family than I ever knew, but I can't always lean on them. They're not always going to be there. I don't have their phone numbers, but I'm going to college, and I'm making a commitment to me to be successful, and I'm not making the money I need right now, but my grandma's taking care of me, and in school, I won't need that. With all my new clothes, I'll be okay living a more modest lifestyle, even though I know, based on videos alone, I could be a billionaire, but I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep fighting. And I made this video to encourage anybody else not to give up and to stand up for yourself. Because if I hadn't been advocating for myself, and when I was at a treatment center that didn't treat me right, or everyone was doing freaking meth in the bathroom, if I didn't leave and stick up for myself, I would have never have been here and made it. And I don't do drugs. I haven't tried drugs. The only drugs I've done are marijuana and alcohol. And, I was addicted to marijuana, but I was never a heavy drinker, especially with my stomach. I wasn't really drinking. Plus, I've been in rehab all year, so I haven't been drinking or smoking. I smoked weed twice this whole year, and people didn't have faith in me that I wasn't gonna be clean. And it's I've been pissing clean this whole freaking time. And, I don't know. It's just been a long time coming, and I just want to make this video to let you guys know that my life isn't all peachy and beautiful. And yes, I'm in this wonderful luxury, sober living house, but it wasn't always that way. I was living on the street not too long ago, and if I was in this house and living on my insurance, I would have been on the street. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Don't give up. Don't do it. Don't do it. Keep fighting. If you're evil and that has taken a toll on your life, like if you have sinful aspects and you feel like that's having an effect on your health, like this is the opportunity not to give up, but to change and say, I'm going to make a commitment to myself. I'm going to make it a commitment to my Messiah. I'm going to make a commitment to do better and be better. And you don't know what miracles or healing could happen for you. That's all I have to say. I love you all.